Welcome to The Edit with your host, Vivian Cole. Brought to you by Vogue Media Agency, the podcast where branding, visibility, and influence are curated with intention. Each week, we cut through the noise to explore strategy, storytelling, and what it really takes to build a brand that's seen, heard, and remembered.
Welcome to The Edit. I'm your host, Vivian Cole. Today, we're editing decisions. Because brands don't usually fail in dramatic moments. They don't collapse overnight. They erode slowly, quietly, through a series of small misaligned decisions made over time. Decisions that feel reasonable in the moment. Decisions that seem harmless. Decisions that are made quickly, under pressure, without intention. Strong brands don't succeed because they make more decisions. They succeed because they make better ones. Not faster, not louder, not based on urgency, but based on alignment. Every decision sends a signal. Long before a customer reads your website or follows you on social media, your decisions have already shaped the brand they experience. What you choose to launch, what you decide to decline, what behavior you tolerate, what you postpone addressing. All of it communicates who you are, what you value, and where you're headed. Most people think branding happens in marketing meetings. It doesn't. Branding happens in decision-making rooms. It happens when you choose what stays and what goes. It happens when you decide what matters enough to protect. Weak brands tend to ask one primary question. Will this work? Will this make money? Will this get attention? Will this help right now? Strong brands ask a different question. Does this fit? Does this fit who we are becoming? Does this fit our standards? Does this fit the long-term direction of the brand? Because opportunity without alignment creates confusion, and confusion eventually becomes chaos. Urgency is the enemy of strategy. When everything feels urgent, nothing is intentional. Brands operating in constant urgency react instead of lead. They respond instead of design. They chase instead of choose. Strong brands slow down before they decide. They resist the pressure to answer immediately. They zoom out. They consider the long-term signal a decision will send, not just the short-term result it might produce. They understand that every decision teaches the brand how to behave. Here's something many leaders underestimate. Every misaligned yes trains your brand to accept compromise. And compromise, repeated often enough, becomes the culture. It becomes the expectation. It becomes the standard. Over time, the brand no longer feels intentional. It feels reactive. It feels stretched. It feels diluted. Not because anyone intended that outcome, but because alignment was never the filter. Decision-making is not a task. It's a leadership skill. Leadership shows up in restraint, in discernment, in the ability to say no without over-explaining, in the confidence to pause when others rush, in the willingness to disappoint short-term expectations in service of long-term vision. Strong leaders don't confuse motion with progress. They don't mistake activity for alignment. They understand that doing less, when chosen intentionally, often creates more power than doing everything. This is especially true as brands grow. Growth introduces complexity. More options, more voices, more demands. Without clear decision filters, growth amplifies confusion instead of momentum. The most effective leaders ask themselves one core question repeatedly. What kind of brand are we training ourselves to become? Because decisions don't just shape outcomes, they shape identity. Now I want to pause here and offer you a reflection moment. Think about the last 3 significant decisions you made for your brand. Not the small ones, the meaningful ones, the ones that affected your time, your energy, your positioning, or your direction. Did those decisions move you closer to your future identity? Or did they keep you tied to your past? Did they reinforce your standards? Or quietly lower them? There's no judgment here, only information. Because that answer reveals whether your decisions are aligned with where you say you want to go. Strong brands choose less, but they choose better. They understand that clarity is not created through accumulation. It's created through editing. That is the Decision Edit. You've been listening to The Edit with Vivian Cole. To lead your brand with clarity, restraint, and intention, visit voguemedia.us. Until next time, edit decisively.
Thanks for listening to The Edit with Vivian Cole, brought to you by Vogue Media Agency. Be sure to subscribe for more insights, share this episode with your network, and join us next week for another conversation on building brands with clarity, confidence, and impact. Visit voguemedia.us.
Vogue Media Agency offers comprehensive services to help small to medium-sized businesses, faith-based and nonprofit organizations, content creators, and entrepreneurs establish and grow their online presence. Focusing on website design, landing pages, social media management, podcast training, branding, weblog creation, and public relations, Vogue Media Agency provides a convenient one-stop solution for clients looking to elevate their digital footprint. What sets us apart is our personalized service and niche expertise. We are your marketing consultants. Contact us today.
To contact Vogue Media Agency, call 212-470-2730 or visit voguemedia.us.